A friend of mine said to me that she was going to a Qigong class, and I said, "What's Qigong?" And she said, "I don't know, but the teacher told me about boundless energy." And I said, "That sounds really good."
When he worked with me, the changes inside were amazing. I had never felt those kind of changes working with anyone before, just like a whole sea change in how I felt inside. And then when I left, I remember looking at the sky and I thought, I have never seen the sky so blue. Hi, I'm Jackie and I live here on the Ren Xue farm in Golden Bay, Mohua, New Zealand. And I'm married to Steve, he's the farm manager here. And I live here with Kat and James and their kids and Vincent and Murray Lowell, so a whole mixture of Ren Xue practitioners and families.
I always wanted to be a farmer, and I went to university and I studied agriculture and horticulture. And I worked on farms when I was younger, and then I went overseas and I saw the need of people in developing countries for better livelihoods on farms. So then when this opportunity came up, where the Ren Xue Trust is looking at buying a farm in Golden Bay, I thought, well, we love Golden Bay, we used to come here.
I grew up on a farm, quite rural, so we rode ponies to school. There was a little paddock at the school, and we lived behind 3 rivers. It sounds very romantic riding a pony to school, but actually on a cold, dark, frosty morning, it's quite hard work. It's really cold and your fingers are blue by the time you get there. But I loved growing up in the country, and so my childhood was often out on the hills with my pony and my dog. And I feel very at home in nature, so I've always lived in connection with nature somehow.
So the land was bought by Ren Xue Australasia with the purpose to build a retreat centre, and to support that we want to build a community. The land is farmland, so it's a working farm, so we also have a Ren Xue farm. So part of the community will be focused on accommodation for farm workers, for people who are working and contributing on the farm. There's also an impulse to build a healing centre.
We were in Green Park where we used to live, and it was winter time, and we'd been talking about what we wanted to do when the kids were all left home. And then this opportunity, oh, we could go to Golden Bay and run this farm. And normally people would go, oh, you know, yeah, right, that's a bit crazy. But it was like, oh, yes, we could. And so we both kind of just felt like, heck, this is good. We could do that and it worked really well.
We came up here the summer before the farm was bought, and Kat and James took us to a beach, and then they looked at us and they said, wow, we just can't believe that here we have a farm manager and a Ren Xue teacher, and they want to come and live here, and that's just what we need. So it just all seemed to fit together.
Yeah, the top of the south is one of my favourite places in the world, so it was serendipity, I guess, that we could come here, run the farm. Jackie can teach Qigong, and we feel like we're incredibly blessed and just straight out lucky, I guess, to be here.
Ren Xue is this amazing system for growing life. So it's a system that is based around many different strands of ancient wisdom, all woven together to work with who we are now in modern life and to really help us grow and fulfill our potential.
The translation is the study of human life, so it is the teachings of Yuanzi, which embody the understanding of life, of human life, of human health on all levels, and our relationship with the universe, our relationship with nature, and how we interact with that.
It's an inward journey, so there are tools for going inwards and working on the body, the energy, heart, emotions, mind, patterns. And I think for me, one of the most wonderful things about Ren Xue is that it brings us home to ourselves. It brings the most amazing sense of peace and harmony, and in coming home to ourselves, we come home to the whole of life. And it's a system where you just keep going deeper. For me, for many, many years, I've practiced and searched and looked at all kinds of things, and often I've gotten something wonderful from them, and then I've wanted to move on. This is the first one where I've just stayed and kept going deeper and deeper, because it just gets better and richer.
So the aim of Ren Xue is harmony. So harmony with ourselves, harmony with our relationships, harmony with community, and harmony with nature. So by understanding ourselves, by understanding how we interact with nature, that we are one with nature and the universe, we can interact better and become more harmonious.
Steve has always been incredibly supportive of my journey and growing. He's an amazing partner, and so if I was interested in it, he would support me to make it happen. And that was no small thing, because we had 3 children who were 2 and 5 and 8, and he had his own work in agriculture, and we had our orchard. So for me to go away for a week or 2 weeks was a lot. You know, I think at the beginning of these journeys, sometimes it's a bit bumpy. You know, I would come home and I'd have all these new ideas, and of course at that time I would want him to change, and then I could change along with him. But it's not quite like that in Ren Xue. It's like, the work is for yourself. And so, you know, the beginning was a bit bumpy, but he was really interested. And then as I went along with it and began to change, then he got much more interested in it. So at the time when I had the 3 kids and I was really busy working, I was just really tired.
So when I came to learning Qigong, I was really exhausted. So with two small children, a few years of sleepless nights, I really felt like I wanted to feel energetic again. So waking up in the morning and actually just feeling tired, that was what it was like. I remember, opening my eyes and thinking, it's another day. but then having to get up and then getting to the end of the day and just feeling exhausted and falling asleep while I was reading the boys their stories. It's hard to even remember that time. It was just so tiring.
Tuesday, 13th of June 2022, we had our official celebration for the Ren Xue farm, the first home for Ren Xue in Aotearoa, New Zealand, on planet Earth. Yeah, so pretty awesome kind of occasion, and obviously marking a really significant moment that had taken years and years to get to that point.
And so we invited people from the local community a bit more widely than we would have done if it was just a Qigong practice. So there were people there who'd never done any Qigong before that actually were there for the tree planting. They just loved planting trees and cared about nature. But they came because the Qigong was there as well. We did that short meditation and then we went into the tree planting. I really loved seeing how those two things worked really well together. Taking the time to go inwards, to really feel into what we were doing, to feel into our respect for the land, to feel into actually why we want to do this in the first place. It's for the future, it's for a better world.
Melissa and Yunsa talking in their beautiful way as they do, taking their time, really kind of touching on the deeper reasons why we're actually here. There were just so many little gems in there. We don't own the land. There's just that whole sense of kaitiaki, kind of guardianship, kind of stewardship of the land, and really reflecting those lovely kind of Ren Xue values around humans and nature are one. I mean, those kinds of Ren Xue principles. Probably one of the highlights for me was Jeff, a local stone carver, kind of gifting his own gift in his own meaningful way, a beautiful precious stone or rock which he had found locally, that he wanted to gift to us and to, I think, Kat specifically as maybe the holder of the chi field, certainly the local holder of the chi field.
As a young person on the Coromandel, I spent quite a bit of time with the old people learning about how to carve stone and a lot of rock hounds in those days. And moody stones are like at the start of any project. A moody stone is, in the traditional sense, is given or placed. And the word moody means is the life force that inhabits everything. All right, that's the Māori word for that unseen energy, that causes everything to be. I guess in your terms, you would call it chi. The gifting of a Miri stone is like it's a symbolic kind of gesture to a place where you can gather all of that will and focus and dedication and say, right, like this, place this here and this will hold that energy, and it's just that's what moody stones do. In this sense, it's just a traditional thing to do at the start of something. Like you were coming into this community, beginning a new thing, so as a community we gift the moody stone to celebrate that event. Yeah.
The concept of the mountain to the sea is a concept that has been existing in the Māori way of thinking about land for a long time. So it's called Kiuta Ki Tai, and it leads your thinking how you grow and work with the land. Because the mountains, this is where the water comes from. This is usually where where nature is pristine. Then you go into the lower levels of the land, which is where you can do agriculture, and that of course then drains into the sea, the water that comes from those regions. So from the mountains to the sea allows us now to place the farm in that context, because it is placed between the Kahurangi National Park where the mountains are, and the sea is right next to the farm where all the rivers and creeks that go through it drain to. And so we would like to use that idea of making the environment that is part of this, where the farm is part of this environment, as clean as possible, as clear as possible. And we can use the waterways as our way of assessing that.
It's a conversation that we have with the land ourselves, and what we feel inside is just an expression of what we need to look at ourselves. So that's what I feel it for myself. So for myself to feel more worthy of that, I suppose. So making sure that I'm doing my best to look after the land. So I actually made some promises to the land that I would look after it, and wanted to listen to it. And I felt then much more comfortable with our plans. But I think it's important that we keep doing that. We keep checking.
Living on the land in a Ren Xue way is living in a landscape of totality. And that's quite different from the way I grew up farming as a child in some ways, and in other ways it's a little bit similar.
We have a very long-term vision. So New Zealanders tend to think 10 years is a long time. We think more like 200 years. We'd like to think about what the farm may be like for the great-great-great-grandchildren of the people who may come here. So we want to make it a place where they would look back and think, yep, they did the right thing.
It was really important for us in our process that when we entered into an agreement where we became the owners of the land, that we weren't taking on that role in a traditional sense of landowners. We wanted to step into the role of stewards, or kaitiaki is the Māori word for it here. Traditionally, there was no ownership of land, because how can you own land? So it was more about taking care of the land, and we really wanted to have that spirit and that approach throughout the purchase. So I like the word stewardship, because it gives a better, it sets the scene for how the land will be treated in the future.
We came onto the land in the middle of winter. We just obviously moved house, and both of us had recently had COVID. And I remember coming here on the second day. We arrived the night before, going out on the farm the second day, and I was so tired, just so tired. And I just went for a walk up one of the tracks and found some old kānuka trees, and I lay down under the trees, and I just felt the earth, and I was exhausted. I just lay back and said, here I am. Please help me. I'm so tired. And then I went to sleep, and I just felt like the earth held me and gave me the strength from the land. And that was something completely new for me, to experience that, even growing up on the land. And so I felt the strength of the land, the love of the land, and it's been with me ever since.
So going for walks on the land, I get a sense of peace inside myself. So it feels very easy to go inward and connect with myself. I feel such gratitude that I want to say thank you. So I'll maybe look at the trees and I'll appreciate how beautiful the trees are, or I'll appreciate the ocean, how beautiful that is. I'll appreciate the cows that are on the land. So it's about the feeling, it's about how it feels to be here and connecting with nature in that way.
Hello, this is a pretty special day. Since we had the farm, took over the farm, this is the first day that the sun's been shining and bright, and Ash and I are having a walk for the first time along the farm. So we've lived here for 1.5 years and we've never been able to actually go for walks on here. So it just feels so special.
In my daily life here on the farm, I like to practice with the whole landscape. I like to go out and be in the paddocks with the animals and do my Teal practice or my Ren Xue Land, and I do my practice being the landscape, being the trees, the birds, the sky, the earth and the plants. And I love everything. I open my heart to everything that I can feel, and I nourish the land here with my heart.
I think that the land does heal us, and not just the land but the animals. And I think it's been seen that, you know, people do well when they're around animals. You know, animals are not, they might kick them but they won't judge them.
I see that the 3 boys are enjoying the most amazing life. They have such a lot of freedom. They are naturally connecting with nature. It doesn't need to be taught to them. They have that relationship and understanding, and it's very natural. So that's what I see for them, which is it fills me with hope, because that is how we're naturally supposed to be. You know, we are meant to be able to live in that way.
It was interesting when we had our Qigong, the Ren Xue summer camp in January. People coming, we had nearly 40 people staying here, and I think the land healed them. It took days and days, I think, for many people to actually arrive, you know, to leave what they left behind. And then I think in terms of people, what they were radiating gave me to believe that there must have been some healing going on. They were, you know, chilling out, I guess.
How does the world heal? How do we make this a planet of love and wisdom Well, this is how we do it. We work on ourselves and it ripples out and it has the most amazing effects on everyone around us. And that's what I see in Kat. I can see how she moves people, and that's actually what I see in Steve as well. That's what he does in his work. He helps people connect in their hearts with the earth, with farming, with how do we grow our food in a way that is deeply respectful of the earth.
So it feels like the land has helped me to connect more easily with that feeling, with my heart, and now it's getting much more easy to do that anytime.
I'd like to build the world a home and furnish it with love. Grow apple trees and honey bees and snow white turtle doves. I'd like to teach the world to sing with perfect harmony. I'd like to hold it in my arms and keep it company. I'd like to see the